something has been happening in your life, something you haven't been able to explain, something your heart keeps feeling even when your mind tries to ignore it. You've been trying to move on. You've been trying to forget. You've been trying to convince yourself that you're fine, but you're not. There is a heaviness you can't name. There is a silence that feels louder than noise. There is a memory that keeps returning when the world goes quiet. And you've wondered, why did Allah take them away? You thought that person was the one. You saw a future. You held a hope. You prayed with sincerity. And then it ended. Not suddenly, not instantly, but slowly, painfully, quietly, like something sacred slipping through your fingers. Listen to me. If they were meant to stay, they would still be here. So why were they removed? You may think it was rejection. You may think it was betrayal. You may think it was your mistake. You may think it was your failure. But what if I told you it was none of those? What if I told you that the separation was not loss, but direction? What if I told you that your heartbreak was not the closing of your story, but the opening of the chapter that will define your entire life? You feel it, don't you? The shift, the pause, the emptiness, the waiting. Your heart is in a doorway, not behind your past, and not fully inside your future. You are in between. And the question you've been asking is not, why did they leave? The real question is, what is Allah preparing me for? Because He is preparing you. He is preparing your heart. He is preparing your future. He is preparing your destiny. He is preparing your love. He is preparing your healing. He is preparing your rise. You did not come to this video by accident. You didn't click this by chance. You were brought here because something in your soul is shifting, because your heart is being rewritten, because your story is not over. It is just beginning. Stay. Don't rush this. Your heart has been waiting a very long time to hear what comes next. They reflected your heart, not your forever. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when a person enters your world so gently, almost like a breeze that you did not expect. You did not invite it, you did not plan it, and you were not prepared for how deeply it would touch your heart. They didn't come crashing into your life. They came quietly, softly, naturally. The way morning light enters the room without asking, and in their presence something awakened inside you. You began to feel again. You began to hope again. You began to believe again. Their words didn't just reach your ears, they reached your heart. Their presence didn't just fill your time, it filled your emptiness. And you thought, maybe this is the person I was waiting for. But understand something very gentle. Not every person who touches your heart was sent to stay. Some are sent by Allah to reveal your heart to you. Because somewhere along the journey, your heart became tired. You stopped noticing its beauty. You stopped appreciating how deeply you are capable of loving. You stopped recognizing the softness Allah placed in your soul. So Allah sent someone not to build a life with, but to hold up a mirror and say, look, this is who you are when you love. Through them you saw your gentleness, your patience, your forgiveness, your sincerity, your ability to care, your loyalty, your softness, your depth, your ability to give without measure. All of this was always inside you, but life had made you forget. Perhaps heartbreak had hardened you. Perhaps disappointment had closed you. Perhaps betrayal had silenced your feelings. Perhaps loss had dimmed your light. So Allah sent someone to awaken what pain had put to sleep. You didn't fall in love with them. You fell in love with the version of you that appeared when they were near. You loved the way your soul opened. You loved the way your heart softened. You loved the way your chest finally felt warm again. You loved the person you became in that connection. This is why the attachment felt so powerful. It wasn't just love, it was self-discovery. But here is the truth, many hearts struggle to accept. Just because someone reflects your beauty does not mean they are your home. The mirror is not the destination, it is just the reflection. When you look into a mirror, you don't cling to the mirror. You don't hold it tight and refuse to let go. You simply realize what you look like. In the same way, this person came to reveal you to yourself. But we as human beings often mistake the reflection for the source. We think, this person made me kind. This person made me love again. This person healed me. This person saved me. No, my dear friend, Allah healed you. Allah softened you. Allah awakened you. The person was only the mirror. The goodness you saw was your own soul. The love you gave was your own heart. The purity you felt was your own sincerity. They did not create this in you. They simply reflected it. And now that they are gone, you feel lost, confused, empty, afraid, as if something was taken from you. But hear this gently, you did not lose anything, because what you found was yourself. The qualities are still there. The love is still there. The softness is still there. The sincerity is still there. The mirror left, but the light it revealed is still shining inside you. This was not a story of loss. It was a story of remembrance. You remembered who you are. You remembered how your heart feels when it loves purely. You remembered what your soul feels like when it is open. You remembered what your inner world can be when Allah softens it. You were not learning them. You were learning yourself. You were not returning to them. You were returning to your heart. And perhaps returning to your heart was the first step back to Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, when the mirror leaves, your heart reacts. It hurts. Of course it hurts. It's not easy when something that felt so real, so warm, so meaningful, suddenly becomes a memory. You may ask yourself, if Allah sent them to awaken my heart, then why didn't He allow them to stay? Because, my dear friend, once the mirror has shown you your reflection, its purpose is complete. If it stayed longer than needed, you would begin to depend on the mirror. Instead of depending on Allah, you would start believing, I need them to feel love. I need them to feel whole. I need them to feel seen. I need them to feel alive. And Allah loves you too much to let your heart become attached to something temporary when He is preparing something eternal for you. So the mirror left, not to break you, not to punish you, not to crush your spirit, but to return your heart back to its rightful owner. You see, the heart is a delicate creation. It was designed to lean, to attach, to feel, to love deeply. But the heart is also forgetful. It forgets that only Allah can hold it safely. It forgets that only Allah can fill it fully. It forgets that only Allah is permanent. So Allah gently removes what you were holding on to. So you may remember, no heart is safe unless it rests with Allah. You may sit alone today and wonder, why did Allah take away the one who made my heart feel alive? But the truth is, your heart was not made to feel alive because of another person. Your heart was made to feel alive because of Allah. That person simply helped you see your heart waking up. But the life inside your heart came from Allah. The peace you felt came from Allah. The healing you experienced came from Allah. The warmth in your chest came from Allah. They were just the moment. Allah was always the source. And if they had stayed too long, you would have credited them for what only Allah can do. So Allah said, إِذَا أَنَّسْنَا عَجُلَيْهِ مِنْ كَانَ أَرَّجُ بِاللَّهِ وَسَلَّمْ يَعَلَامًا. This chapter was beautiful. It served you. It awakened you. And now, my beloved servant, it is time to release it. Because your heart was never meant to worship the reflection. It was meant to recognize the reflection and return to the one who gave it light. My dear friend, you have not been abandoned. You have been redirected. You have not been left empty. You have been cleared. There is a difference. An empty heart is a heart without meaning. A cleared heart is a heart being prepared for something greater. Look at yourself gently now. The love you gave wasn't a mistake. The softness wasn't weakness. The loyalty wasn't wasted. The sincerity wasn't foolish. These were signs of who you truly are. This connection didn't break you. It introduced you to your own depth. You now know how deeply you can feel. You now know how much you can give. You now know the capacity of your heart. You needed to know this before Allah sends the one who is written to stay. So take a breath, my dear heart. Slow down. Place your hand on your chest for a moment. Feel the quiet beat. This heart is not broken. It is awake. It is alive. It is open. It is learning. It is transforming. It is remembering its Lord. The mirror did not injure you. The mirror revealed you. And now Allah is gently taking your heart back into His hands so He can shape it perfectly for what and for who is coming. This is not the end. This is not even loss. This is preparation. If they were meant to stay, they would stay. My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a time in life where your heart becomes attached to someone so deeply, so sincerely, so purely, that you begin to imagine a future with them. You picture conversations that have not yet happened. You picture moments that have not yet come. You picture a life that was never guaranteed. And your heart, being soft and human, begins to hope. You think, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the person I will walk with for the rest of my journey. Maybe Allah sent them to be my forever. You see, love makes us dream. Love makes us build worlds in silence. Love makes us believe in possibilities we never believed before. But my dear friend, just because your heart holds someone dearly does not mean they were written to stay. Not every beautiful connection is meant to lead to destiny. Not every deep bond is meant to last a lifetime. Not every person you love is meant to walk to the end of your story with you. Sometimes Allah allows a person to enter your life, to awaken you, to soften you, to teach you, to prepare you, but not to stay. And it hurts. It hurts in a way you cannot explain in words. It hurts in a way that stays quiet in the chest. It hurts because you didn't just lose a person, you lost a future that you imagined, a dream you nurtured, a story you were ready to write. But listen gently, if they were meant to stay, nothing, not distance, not time, not circumstance, nothing could have removed them. The heart that is written for you is tied to your destiny by the one who controls hearts. And the heart that is not written for you could sit beside you every day and still never truly be yours. Allah is the turner of hearts. Allah is the writer of stories. Allah is the one who protects your soul, even from the love you are not meant to keep. You may ask, but why would Allah let me love someone who wasn't meant to stay? Because the love was never wasted. Maybe the love taught you patience. Maybe the love taught you compassion. Maybe the love showed you what your heart is capable of. Maybe the love healed parts of you that you didn't know were wounded. You see, people are not mistakes. Connections are not accidents. Even temporary love has purpose. But love becomes painful when we try to hold what Allah is asking us to release. Your soul knew when the story was ending. Your heart felt the shift. The conversations changed. The tone changed. The effort changed. The silence grew. You felt it. You just didn't want to accept it. Because acceptance means facing emptiness. Acceptance means letting go of what once felt safe. Acceptance means trusting Allah more than your attachment. And that is not easy. But hear this. What is written for you will always be yours. What is written for you will not confuse you. What is written for you will not exhaust you. What is written for you will return to you even after being delayed. What is written for you will stay without you begging it to. So when someone leaves, do not say, they didn't love me enough. Say instead, Allah protected my heart from what was never meant to be mine. You did not lose your destiny. You simply lost your distraction. The one who is meant to walk with you is already written, already chosen, already known by Allah, and their heart is being prepared too. Your story is not falling apart. It is falling into place. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the hardest realities to accept is this. You can love someone with your entire heart and still they may not be written to walk the rest of life with you. Love alone is not always the measure of destiny. Sometimes Allah separates two hearts even while they still love one another. Not because the love was false, but because the timing, the direction, the purpose or the future was not aligned. There is something very important to understand. Allah does not separate hearts to break them. Allah separates hearts to protect them. Perhaps you would have changed in ways that would harm you. Perhaps your peace would have been swallowed slowly. Perhaps your dreams would have dimmed over time. Perhaps your deen, your connection with Allah, your spiritual well-being would have slowly faded without you realizing. Allah sees the future. Allah sees the truth behind smiles. Allah sees the weight your heart would not be able to carry later. So He intervenes now, and His intervention sometimes looks like silence, like confusion, like sudden distance,
like unanswered questions,
like a door closing without explanation. But in reality, it was mercy disguised as loss. You cried, you begged, you tried to hold on, you tried to adjust yourself just to keep them near, not because you were weak, but because your heart is sincere. Yet the more you tried to hold on, the more Allah gently loosened your grip. Why? Because the heart you were trying to hold was not yours to keep. And Allah loves you too much to allow you to build your life around something that was never meant to stay. My dear friend, there is something very sacred about trusting Allah even when your heart is trembling. This is where faith is tested. Not when life is easy, but when your chest aches quietly in the night and your eyes cannot stop filling with tears. You look at the ceiling, you bury your face into your pillow, you whisper to Allah, Ya Allah, why did you take them away? And perhaps the answer is, my beloved servant, you loved them more than you loved yourself. You loved them more than you loved your future. You loved them more than you loved your peace. And soon you would have started loving them more than you loved me. So I intervened to save your heart before you lost it completely. This is not punishment, this is protection. And sometimes protection hurts. It hurts not because it is harsh, but because your heart is tender. Your love was real. Your longing was sincere. And sincere love always aches when it parts. But remember, your tears are not signs of weakness. Your crying is not a sign of failure. Your sadness is not a sign of distance from Allah. Your tears are your heart returning to its Lord. Every time you wipe your face, every time you take a deep breath, every time you stand up to pray, even while your chest feels heavy, you are proving to Allah, I am hurting, but I still choose you. There is no worship more beloved than this. The angels record it. Allah sees it. And your heart is being rewritten in those moments. One day, you will look back at this chapter and say, Di desi go di to biha go di to di go di. Ya Allah, I didn't understand it then. I didn't know why you took them away. But now I see you were saving me from a future that would have destroyed my spirit. And on that day, Your heart will thank Allah for a door that you once begged Him to keep open. The hands that once trembled while letting go will rise in gratitude, because what is written for you will never require you to break yourself just to keep it. What is written for you will fit into your life without force, without fear, without begging, without losing your peace. What is written for you will feel like ease. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to convince it. You don't need to fear losing it. The heart that is meant for you will move towards you the way rain moves towards the earth. Naturally, gently, inevitably, by the command of Allah. So rest your heart. Your story did not end. It simply turned a page. The chapter that hurt you is the chapter that is preparing you. Allah has not forgotten you. Allah has not ignored your prayers. Allah has not left you behind. Your blessings are not gone. They're simply being rearranged. The separation was mercy in disguise. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when we stand in front of a door that suddenly closes. A relationship ends. A connection fades. A presence that once felt so familiar disappears. And your heart, being soft by nature, does not understand. Your heart asks, why? Why did this happen? Why now? Why when I finally opened myself? You see, the heart loves deeply. And when it loves, it attaches. And when it attaches, it hopes. And when something you hoped for is taken away, the pain is real. But sometimes Allah removes someone from your life, not because the love was wrong, but because the future would have been wrong. Allah knows what your eyes cannot see. Allah hears conversations you were never present for. Allah knows the private intentions of hearts, even when their words seem sincere. And Allah, out of His love for you, sometimes steps in and says, I know you love this person. I know your heart found comfort in them. But my beloved servant, I am protecting you from a pain you cannot yet see. Separation is not always a punishment. Sometimes separation is protection. Sometimes separation is redirection. Sometimes separation is mercy in disguise. You may feel abandoned, but Allah is saying, you were about to give your heart to a place where it would not be valued. You may feel rejected, but Allah is saying, you were loving someone who would not carry your soul with care. You may feel confused, but Allah is saying, I am saving you from a heartbreak that would have shattered you in a way you could not recover from. My dear friend, not every goodbye is a loss. Some goodbyes are the beginning of your healing. Some goodbyes are the closing of a door that was leading you away from your purpose. Allah saw the nights you spent awake, waiting for clarity. Allah saw the effort you made to hold things together. Allah saw the quiet tears you wiped so no one would worry. Allah saw everything. And Allah knew that if He did not remove this person now, their presence would slowly drain your heart, your peace, your connection with Him. So He took them away, not out of anger, not out of disappointment, but out of mercy. A mercy that did not look like mercy at first. Because mercy sometimes comes dressed as pain, as silence, as distance, as an ending. The heart cannot understand what the mind cannot see. But the soul recognizes Allah's wisdom in time. One day you will look back and say, if that person had stayed, I would have lost myself. One day you will realize, if that story continued, my heart would have broken in ways I would not know how to repair. One day you will whisper, Ya Allah, thank you for saving me from what I thought I wanted. Because the love you lost was not greater than the love Allah has for you. Allah does not let go of something you think is good unless He is preparing something better. The problem is not that you loved. Love is never wrong. The problem was where you placed your heart. You placed it in the hands of a human being who was temporary, fragile, changing, limited. Allah wants your heart to rest in a place where it will never be mishandled. With Him, sometimes Allah separates you in order to bring you back to Him. Sometimes Allah removes the person you depended on so you can learn to depend on Him again. This is not loss, this is returning. This is not ending, this is rebuilding. This is not being left alone. This is being taken back to the one who never leaves. Your heart is not breaking. Your heart is being reconstructed with wisdom and light. The separation was not cruel, it was careful. Allah cared for you in a way you did not know how to care for yourself. And someday you will feel peace in the very place that once hurt the most. My dear brothers and sisters, there are times when Allah removes someone from your life and your heart reacts with shock. You say to yourself, but Ya Allah, I asked you for this person. I prayed for this to work. I was sincere. I was loyal. I was trying with all my heart. And yes, you were sincere. Your love was real. Your intentions were pure. But sincerity alone is not enough to make something good for you. Sometimes the very thing you called a blessing was something Allah knew would eventually take you away from Him. So He removed it before you became more attached to the creation than to the Creator. Because Allah does not want your heart to be held by someone who cannot protect it. Allah does not want your peace to depend on someone who cannot guarantee it. Allah does not want your happiness to be controlled by someone who is capable of changing, leaving, forgetting, or disappointing. Your heart is too precious, too delicate, too valuable. Allah created your heart with His own hands. He breathed into it from His mercy. He honored it with emotion, love, and vulnerability. So when Allah saw your heart leaning too heavily on someone who could not carry it, He stepped in. He removed them. Not to leave you broken, but to save you from breaking more deeply later. Because there are two kinds of heartbreak. The heartbreak that happens early when Allah intervenes and protects you, and the heartbreak that comes later after your heart has given too much, waited too long, sacrificed too deeply, and finally collapses under the weight of expectations. Allah chose the lighter heartbreak for you. You think what you're feeling now is unbearable, but Allah saw a hurt much greater than this years down the line, and He pulled you away before it reached you. That is compassion. That is care. That is divine love. But when we are hurting, we don't see the wisdom. We only see the wound. We only see what was taken, not what we are being protected from. You cried. You questioned. You begged for answers. You asked, why would Allah allow me to love someone I cannot keep? But my beloved friend, the purpose of love was never possession. The purpose of love was transformation. You loved, and through that love you grew. Your heart became softer. You learned patience. You learned trust. You learned what your soul needs and what it cannot endure. The love that left did not fail you. It finished its assignment. There are people who come into your life not to stay, but to shift you, to move your heart from where it was to where it needed to be, to guide you from who you were to who you are becoming. They were a bridge, and bridges are meant to be crossed, not lived on. But I know your heart hurts. I know the silence of separation feels heavy. I know certain memories come back without warning. I know your chest tightens when you remember how deeply you cared. But here's something gentle. Your sadness is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. Your tears do not mean that Allah is distant. Your pain does not mean that Allah is displeased with you. Your pain is a sign that your heart is alive. Your tears are a sign that your heart is soft. Your longing is a sign that your heart is capable of love. Do not be ashamed of your feelings. Allah is closer to you in these moments than in any moment of ease. Because when your heart breaks, your soul turns to Allah with a purity that is rare and beautiful. There is a kind of dua that only escapes from a trembling chest. There is a kind of closeness to Allah that only comes after loss. There is a kind of understanding that only forms in silence. So yes, the separation hurt, but the separation also brought you back to your Lord. And what is found near Allah is never a loss. Allah was preparing your heart. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes we think the purpose of love is to stay, but sometimes the purpose of love is to prepare. Not every love is meant to complete you. Some love enters your life to reshape you, to open parts of your heart you didn't know existed, to soften places that had grown numb, to heal wounds that were silently rooted inside you. Allah, in His divine wisdom, knows the exact condition of your heart. He knows where it is weak. He knows where it is tired. He knows where it is hardened by old pain. He knows where your heart is still carrying weight that you never spoke about. So Allah allows someone to enter your life like gentle rain, not to stay forever, but to water the garden of your soul so it can bloom again. Sometimes you didn't even know how much of your heart had shut down. You didn't know how much of your innocence you had lost. You didn't know how long you lived with walls built around your tenderness. You were functioning, you were smiling, you were living, but something inside you had become quiet. And Allah, who is closer to you than your own veins, knew your heart needed to be reminded of itself. So He sent someone whose presence felt familiar, someone whose voice felt safe, someone whose kindness felt like sunlight, someone whose existence lifted burdens you didn't know you were carrying. And slowly your heart began to wake up. You began to feel again. You began to hope again. You began to trust again. You began to see beauty where you once saw emptiness. This was not an accident. This was preparation. Allah was preparing your heart for something greater than the love you experienced. He was preparing your soul for someone who will stay, not someone who was temporary. But before you receive the one who is written for you, your heart needs to be cleaned, softened, purified, opened. And sometimes the only way to soften a heart is to let it love. Love is the fire that melts the shells we built around our emotions. Love is the light that reaches the rooms we keep locked. Love is the key that opens doors inside us that we forgot existed. Without love, we become closed. Without love, we become hard. Without love, we become afraid of life. So Allah allowed your heart to love so that it could return to being alive. But once your heart opened, once the wound healed, once the soul softened, the chapter ended. And your heart said, why? Why did you let me love someone I couldn't keep? And Allah says, وَمَا نَعَدْتُمُ اللَّهِ أَطْرَآنَ. My beloved servant, you were not loving them. You were loving through them. You were finding the parts of yourself that pain had buried. You were remembering the heart I placed inside you. You needed this love not to complete you, but to prepare you for what is coming. You see, preparation is not always gentle. Sometimes preparation feels like being undone. Sometimes preparation feels like opening wounds that had scarred over. Sometimes preparation feels like breaking before building. But the heart that has never broken cannot understand how to love deeply. The heart that has never been humbled by loss cannot appreciate the gift of someone who stays. Allah is preparing your heart to hold a love that lasts, a love that is healthy, a love that is pure, A love that does not require you to shrink, lose, beg or ache. But before that love arrives, the heart must learn how to recognize its own strength. Your heart was not broken so it could remain broken. It was broken so it could become wider, more understanding, more compassionate, more patient, more sincere, more connected to Allah. You do not realize it yet, but your heart is becoming more beautiful than it has ever been. The pain you feel right now is not a punishment. It is a restructuring. It is a rebuilding. It is Allah sculpting your heart into a form that is capable of receiving the love you once prayed for. You are not being emptied. You are being prepared. Prepared for a love that will not leave. Prepared for a love that will feel like peace. Prepared for a love that will bring you closer to Allah, not further from Him. Prepared for a love that will not require fear to hold on. Prepared for a love that will stay even when life is heavy. Your heart is not breaking. Your heart is growing. And that growth is sacred. My dear brothers and sisters, when Allah prepares the heart, He does not always prepare it in comfort. Sometimes He prepares it in silence. Sometimes He prepares it in emptiness. Sometimes He prepares it in longing, because the heart learns through feeling. And the deepest lessons of the soul are learned not in ease, but in the quiet places where no one sees your tears but Allah. There are moments when you sit alone in your room and your chest feels heavy and you don't even know how to explain the ache inside you. There are moments when a memory returns without warning and it pulls at your heart as if something is still unfinished. There are nights when your pillow becomes a witness, when your tears speak what your tongue cannot, when your heart whispers, Ya Allah, I don't understand what you are doing. But my dear friend, that whisper is the preparation, because before the heart can love someone the right way, it must first learn how to love Allah the right way. If the heart loves a person more than Allah, it begins to shatter under the weight of expectations. But when the heart begins to love Allah first, it becomes strong enough to love others without losing itself. So Allah takes you through separation, not to take love away from you, but to teach your heart where love is safe to rest. The heart is like a traveler. It wanders, it searches, it attaches, it hopes. But the heart must always return to the one who created it. And sometimes the only way the heart returns to Allah is through longing. Longing is a sacred experience. Longing reminds you that the world cannot fulfill you. Longing reminds you that people are limited. Longing reminds you that only Allah can fill the deepest part of your chest, where no human hand can reach. You think the ache is about a person, but it is not them. It is Allah calling you back to Him. When you cry because something ended, those tears are washing your heart. They are rinsing away attachments that were becoming heavy, unhealthy, or consuming. Allah does not want your heart to be imprisoned by something temporary. So He removes the attachment little by little, day by day, tear by tear, until your heart begins to feel light again, clear again, alive again. But understand, the preparation is not only in letting go. The preparation is also in what remains. What remains after loss is who you truly are. You begin to see your patience, your resilience, your humility, your courage, your sincerity. There is a version of you that only heartbreak can reveal. Not a broken version, a real version. A version that knows how to kneel before Allah. A version that knows how to ask Him for strength. A version that knows that love is a gift, not a possession. A version that knows that nothing in this world is yours except your connection with Allah. And that version of you is exactly who you needed to become before Allah sends someone who is meant to stay. Because the love that is coming to your life is not a small love, not a shallow love, not a temporary love. It will require a heart that knows how to love without losing itself. A heart that knows how to love without worshipping the one it loves. A heart that knows how to love while still remembering Allah at every moment. So Allah is preparing your heart through separation, through patience, through surrender. You see, preparation is not God delaying your happiness. Preparation is God protecting your happiness. You are not being held back. You are being prepared to be given exactly what you prayed for, but in a form that is healthier, purer, stronger, and more lasting than you imagined. Your heart is being upgraded. Your heart is being trained. Your heart is being expanded. Not to love less, but to love better. Not to love with fear, but to love with certainty. Not to love while depending on someone, but to love while depending on Allah. The heart you are growing into will be able to handle the blessing without losing the giver of the blessing. This is not an ending. This is the truest beginning. Real love does not confuse your soul. My dear brothers and sisters, there is something very important your heart needs to understand. Love itself was never the problem. The pain you felt did not come from love. The pain came from confusion, fear, uncertainty, and imbalance around that love. Real love, the kind that is written for you by Allah, does not shake your identity, does not diminish your peace, does not make you question your worth, does not cause you to lose sleep wondering where you stand. Real love does not make you feel like you are chasing. Real love does not make you feel like you are begging to be understood. Real love does not drown you in anxiety waiting for reassurance. Real love feels steady. Real love feels safe. Real love feels like home inside your chest. When Allah writes someone for your heart, you do not need to force connection. You do not need to struggle for attention. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit into their life. The love that is written for you will fit you without pain. But sometimes we call attachment love. We call fear of losing someone love. We call emotional dependency love. We call being unable to let go love. But attachment and love are not the same. Attachment says, I need you so I don't feel empty. Love says, if ma akhsa ima da'ama, I care for you, but I will not lose myself while loving you. Attachment says, without you, I am nothing. Love says, with Allah, I am whole, and with you, I share beauty. Attachment tightens the chest. Love softens it. Attachment drains your spirit. Love nourishes it. Attachment takes away your sleep. Love brings you peace. You see, my dear friend, if someone being in your life causes your heart to feel constantly anxious, constantly unsure, constantly worried, constantly questioning where you stand, then it is not love. Your heart is experiencing, it is instability. Real love does not come with emotional roller coasters. Real love does not leave you guessing. Real love does not come and go depending on mood, time, or convenience. Real love stays. Real love protects. Real love uplifts. Real love helps you breathe deeper, not tighter. And the reason for this is simple. Love that comes from Allah carries the peace of Allah. If the love is real, you will feel closer to Allah through it, not further. If the love is real, you will feel more yourself, not less. If the love is real, your heart will expand, not shrink. If the love is real, it will bring you calmness, not confusion, because confusion is a sign of misalignment. Confusion is a sign that something is being forced. Confusion is a sign that your heart is trying to attach to something that does not have the capacity to hold it. And Allah, out of His love for you, does not want your heart to be held in unsafe hands. So He allows confusion to rise. He allows the discomfort to surface. He allows your chest to feel unsettled, not to hurt you, but to wake you up. Your heart is telling you, this is not where I can rest. Your soul is whispering, there is something wrong here. Your intuition is trying to protect you. You are shrinking, you are compromising your worth, you are losing yourself. And Allah is showing you, this is not love. This is attachment disguised as love. Because love, real love, does not ask you to betray your peace. If you had to sacrifice your dignity to keep someone, that was not love. If you had to silence your needs to avoid losing them, that was not love. If you had to constantly fight for the bare minimum, that was not love. If you had to carry all of the emotional weight alone, that was not love. If you had to fear losing them every day, that was not love. Love should not feel like survival. Love should feel like peace. And the peace you are craving is a sign of the love Allah is preparing for you. The love that is coming will not feel like this. The love that is coming will not confuse you. The love that is coming will not break you just to stay. The love that is coming will make your heart feel safe, cherished, honored, held gently, respected, protected, at ease. Your heart will not have to beg for clarity. Clarity will be given freely. Your heart will not have to chase love. Love will stand beside you willingly. Your heart will not have to perform to be worthy of staying. You will be loved simply because you exist. And that is love written by Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a reason your heart felt tired in that connection. There is a reason you had to keep explaining yourself. There is a reason you had to seek reassurance again and again. There is a reason your chest felt tight. Even when you tried to convince yourself that everything was fine, your soul knew. The soul recognizes truth before the mind does. The soul feels alignment before the body does. The soul senses peace before the heart can name it. And just as the soul recognizes truth, it also recognizes what is not written. Your confusion was not a punishment. It was a sign. Allah was showing you, this bond is not where your heart can safely rest. Sometimes the heart wants what is familiar, what feels emotionally intense, what feels like a remedy to old wounds. But Allah wants for you what will heal you, not what will simply fill the moment. There is a difference between what the heart craves and what the soul needs. The heart craves warmth, even from a fire that can burn it. But the soul seeks peace. Peace does not feel rushed. Peace does not feel uncertain. Peace does not feel heavy. Peace does not feel like a storm. Peace feels like a soft place to land. And real love brings that peace. My dear friend, real love does not make you afraid of losing someone. Real love makes you feel grateful that Allah brought someone into your life. Real love does not drown you in questions. Real love answers questions before you even ask. Real love does not say, prove to me you deserve to stay. Real love says, I am here and I am not going anywhere. The heart that is meant for you will not make you fight for its loyalty. The heart that is written for you will not make you feel replaceable. The heart that is destined for you will not make you chase love as if you are unworthy of receiving it. No, the love written for you will meet you with ease. You will not have to beg to be seen. You will not have to shrink to be accepted. You will not have to hold your breath waiting for consistency. Love that is real, love that is from Allah, does not come with chaos. It comes with clarity. Clarity in words, clarity in intentions, clarity in effort, clarity in presence. You will not have to guess where you stand. You will know. Your heart will say, this is safe. Your soul will whisper, this is right. Your mind will soften. I can breathe here because Allah will place sakina, tranquility in your chest. Not butterflies, not adrenaline, not anxiety disguised as excitement. Calmness. That is how the heart recognizes what is written for it. Not by intensity, not by force, not by obsession, not by fear of losing someone, but by peace. Peace is the language of real love. Peace is the sign of divine alignment. Peace is the mark of a bond that was written by the one who created your heart. If the love made your heart restless, if it made your mind dizzy, if it made your soul feel unsettled, it was not real love. It may have been attachment, it may have been comfort, it may have been desire, it may have been emotional need, but it was not soul deep love. And Allah, in His kindness, does not want you to settle for anything less than a love that brings you closer to Him. The love that is meant for you will be a doorway back to Allah, not a distraction from Him. The love that is meant for you will feel like worship when your hearts stand together in prayer, not emptiness when you stand alone. And that is why Allah separated you from what confused you. Not because you are unworthy of love, but because you are worthy of a love that does not hurt to hold. Your heart is not empty, it's being rewritten. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments when it feels like your heart has been taken apart piece by piece. You sit in silence and feel something missing. You try to speak, but the words come out thin. You try to smile, but it does not reach your eyes. You try to breathe, but your chest feels heavy. It is as if something inside you has been removed, as if someone walked away carrying a part of you with them. And in that silence, your heart whispers, where did the warmth go? Where did the feeling go? Why do I feel so empty? But listen closely. Your heart is not empty. Your heart is under divine reconstruction. When Allah removes someone from your heart, He is not leaving it hollow. He is clearing space inside you. Space that was once filled with attachments, with expectations, with hopes that were tied to the wrong destination. Your heart feels like it is breaking because Allah is reshaping it. You see, the heart is like a page. Every person we love leaves a mark. Some leave so gently, it feels like poetry. Some leave so forcefully, it feels like a tear through the page. But Allah is the one who rewrites stories. He is the one who removes what no longer belongs. He is the one who prepares your heart for what is coming. This is not emptiness. This is rewriting. Your heart is being rewritten into a version of you that is stronger, deeper, more awake, more compassionate, more real, more sincere, more connected to Allah than you were before. And yes, rewriting is painful because to rewrite the heart, Allah must touch the parts of it that hurt the most. The memories you try to forget, the moments you pretend didn't matter, the pain you hide behind your smile, the wounds you trained yourself not to feel anymore. Allah touches those places, not to harm, but to heal. The heart cannot heal what it refuses to feel. So Allah reveals the feelings you tucked away, the longing you pushed down, the grief you buried beneath routine, the love you never learned how to let go of. And suddenly, you are sitting alone in your room, feeling everything you avoided for years. And you think, I am breaking. But you are not breaking. You are unfolding. You are opening. You are becoming new. The version of you that walks through past pain cannot go where Allah is taking you next. There are parts of you that must be shed. There are attachments that must be undone. There are illusions that must dissolve. There are loves that must return to Allah before your soul can receive what is written. You are not empty. You are being purified. And purification is not always gentle. Sometimes it is fire. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is longing. Sometimes it is letting go of someone you wanted to hold forever. But Allah knows what your heart does not yet know. He knows who will love you with gentleness. He knows who will respect your soul. He knows who will protect your peace. He knows who will stay when life becomes heavy. He knows who will take your hand and guide you toward Him, not away. So Allah removes what is not meant to carry your heart into the future. Even if your heart thought it wanted that future, you are not losing your heart. Your heart is growing into its true shape. You are not becoming empty. You are becoming ready. Ready for a love that is calm. Ready for a love that is steady. Ready for a love that is sincere. Ready for a love that brings you closer to Allah. Ready for a love that does not require pain to sustain it. Right now it feels like something is missing. But the truth is, something is being created. Allah is writing a new chapter inside you. One that will make sense later. One that will bring peace later. One that will make you say, Ya Allah, now I understand why it had to happen this way. Because the heart that is being shaped right now is the heart that will finally be able to recognize the love that is meant to stay. Your heart is not empty. Your heart is in transition between who you were and who Allah is making you to be. And that is sacred. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a quiet moment that comes after loss. A moment where the world does not stop, but you do. You sit in your own silence. You move through your days with a softness that wasn't there before. Your footsteps slow. Your breath deepens. Your eyes carry stories that no one knows. And people around you may think you are getting over it. But Allah knows you are rebuilding. The heart does not break and heal in one motion. The heart heals in layers. First, there is shock, the confusion, the disbelief, the silent gasp of the soul. Then comes the ache, the heaviness in the chest, the weight behind the eyes, the quiet crying that no one hears. Then comes the longing, the memories returning at random, the scents that remind you, the places that echo with what was. But then comes the rewriting. This is the stage where Allah begins to form something new inside you, something that cannot be taken away, something that does not depend on who stays or who leaves, something that does not shatter when circumstances change. Allah begins to give you a new heart, a heart that knows how to love without losing itself, a heart that knows how to give without draining its soul, a heart that knows how to care without collapsing into dependency, a heart that knows how to lean on Allah before it leans on anyone else. You see, before this heartbreak, you loved with innocence, but you did not know how to love with wisdom. You were sincere, but you did not know how to set boundaries. You were open, but you did not know how to protect your own soul. So Allah allowed your heart to feel what it felt, not to break you, but to teach you the architecture of real love. Because love is not weakness. Love is not neediness. Love is not chasing. Love is not fear. Love is mercy. Love is calmness. Love is trust. Love is knowing that whatever comes from Allah is good, and whatever leaves by the command of Allah is also good. Your heart is not empty. It is being cleared of what does not belong. Do you know what happens when a garden is reset? The soil is turned, the old roots are removed, the ground is broken apart, the weeds are pulled out. To anyone watching, it looks like destruction. But the gardener knows it is preparation for new growth. Allah is the gardener of your heart, and He is turning the soil inside you. He is removing attachments that were choking your soul. He is pulling out illusions that looked like love but were only longing. He is preparing your heart so that something true can grow there. Do not rush the stage. Do not try to fill the empty space with distraction or another person or noise. Sit with the silence. Sit with the ache. Sit with your soul. Because in this silence, your heart is learning to hear Allah again. You are learning to pray not just with your tongue, but with your pain. You are learning to trust not because life makes sense, but because Allah is the one guiding it. You are learning that your worth is not determined by who stayed and not erased by who left. You are learning that your heart is not fragile, it is sacred. And the one who is written to hold your heart will hold it with gentleness, with respect, with care, with intention, with sincerity, with fear of Allah, and with a prayer. You are not empty. You are becoming ready for that person, for that love, for that calmness. For that chapter, Allah is not just rewriting your heart. He is making it stronger than it has ever been. The one written for you is being prepared too. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes when your heart is healing, it feels lonely. You look around and it seems like no one understands the depth of what you are going through. You see people laughing, living, loving, and you wonder if your heart will ever feel whole again. You ask Allah, will I ever experience a love that stays? You ask quietly, will someone ever choose me with intention? You wonder, will there be a person who sees my soul and says, this is where I belong? And the heart waits, sometimes patiently, sometimes in tears, sometimes with longing so deep that only Allah can hear it. But listen carefully, just as your heart is being prepared, the one written for you is also being prepared. Right now, somewhere in this world, there is a heart learning, growing, breaking, healing, transforming, just like you. You are not the only one experiencing lessons, loss, patience, or spiritual rebuilding. Allah is shaping two hearts at the same time. Two souls being refined so they can meet at the right time, in the right season of life, with the right maturity, with the right faith, with the right purpose. Because Allah does not write ordinary love for the hearts He has tested deeply. When Allah allows your heart to break, He is not punishing you. He is preparing you for a love that will require a stronger, more compassionate, more spiritually conscious version of you. And the one written for you, they are learning how to love too. Maybe they once loved in the wrong way. Maybe they once held someone too tightly or too loosely. Maybe Allah is teaching them how to love with balance, how to love with mercy, how to love without attachment that leads to forgetting Allah. Maybe they are healing from wounds that would have spilled into your relationship had you met them too soon. Maybe they are learning patience. Maybe they are learning humility. Maybe they are learning how to speak with kindness, how to care with sincerity, how to stay when life becomes difficult. Because real love requires prepared hearts, not perfect hearts, not unscarred hearts, not untouched hearts, prepared hearts. Hearts that understand love is not possession, but responsibility, not demand, but gentleness, not control, but partnership, not taking, but giving for the sake of Allah. The one written for you is being shaped right now to recognize your heart when it appears. They are learning how to treat a soul like yours, with respect, with care, with softness, with consistency. Perhaps right now they're going through their own heartbreak, ones that teach them how to value commitment. Perhaps they are standing in prayer this night, asking Allah to send them someone who brings peace. They don't know it yet, but they are praying for you. You are not waiting alone. Your future is being arranged. Your love is being aligned. Your destiny is being written with precision beyond imagination. Two journeys are happening, two transformations, two hearts moving slowly, quietly, beautifully toward the moment Allah says, Mana ana. Now, but Allah will not let your paths cross until both of you are ready to hold what He's giving. Because love given too soon becomes pain. Love given too early becomes imbalance. Love given before healing becomes dependency. Allah is too loving to send you someone you are not ready for, and too loving to send you to someone who is not ready for you. You are being prepared. They are being prepared silently, beautifully, individually, according to divine timing. So if the weight feels heavy, if the nights feel long, if the chest feels tired, remember this: your loneliness is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign of preparation. Your patience is not being ignored, it is being written. Your prayers are not unanswered. They are being collected for the right moment. Allah is not making you wait to test you. Allah is making you wait to honor you. Because what is written for you is not ordinary. It is something that required your tears, your growth, your heartbreak, your healing, your becoming, and their becoming too. My dear brothers and sisters, there is something deeply beautiful about Allah's timing. He does not rush your heart into love, and He does not delay love beyond its appointed moment. He aligns hearts when they are ready to see each other clearly. But readiness is not just about wanting someone, it is about becoming someone. Maybe once you loved with fear, you loved with insecurity, you loved with the belief that love could be lost at any moment. You held on too tightly, or perhaps you gave too much of yourself away, and maybe the one written for you used to love the same way. So Allah separated you from past attachments to teach you how to love differently, more beautifully, more consciously. This time, love must be different. This time, love must come from your wholeness, not your wounds. This time, love must be peace, not emotional survival. And for that to happen, both hearts need time. Time to outgrow old habits. Time to heal scars that were quietly shaping their reactions. Time to remove the fears learned from people who mishandled love. Time to empty the heart of what was never meant to stay. In the silence, Allah is doing unseen work. Right now, the one written for you may be learning patience, learning how to speak kindly rather than with ego, learning how to listen rather than defend, learning how to apologize rather than justify, learning how to stay rather than escape when things become difficult. Because the love written for you will not run away when challenges appear. Allah is teaching them how to choose you with maturity, not just emotion. He is polishing their character, softening their heart, deepening their faith. And the same is happening to you. You are learning how to set boundaries that honor your soul. You are learning how to express needs instead of silencing yourself. You are learning how to stand with Allah even when your heart is shaking. You are learning how to love without losing your identity. You are learning how to give without abandoning yourself. You are becoming someone who can receive love with grace, not fear. Someone whose love does not break them. Someone whose love is anchored in Allah, not uncertainty. This is why Allah did not let you meet the right person earlier. If you met them when you were still wounded, you would have misunderstood their love. You might have pushed them away out of fear, or clung to them out of emptiness, or expected them to heal pain they did not cause. But Allah wants your love story to be built on wholeness. Two complete hearts meeting, not two broken hearts trying to fill each other's cracks. So He separates, He delays, He refines, He strengthens, He teaches. And you call it waiting, but Allah calls it preparing. Every tear you shed has written softness into your character. Every disappointment has carved wisdom into your soul. Every unanswered prayer has brought you closer to Allah's embrace. You are not waiting for love. You are being shaped into love. And so is the one written for you. You may not know their name yet. You may not know their voice or their face or their story, but Allah knows. And there will come a moment, quiet, natural, simple, where the two journeys finally meet. You will recognize them not by excitement alone, but by peace. Your soul will say, I have seen you before, not in this world, but in the prayers I whispered when I was hurting. Their presence will not feel like a beginning. It will feel like returning to something familiar, returning to something promised, returning to something that your heart always knew was coming. And in that moment, you will understand every delay, every heartbreak, every tear, every unanswered prayer. You will look at Allah with a full heart and say, Ya Allah, you were preparing us for each other all along. Your story is not over. My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in life when the heart becomes tired of trying, tired of holding on, tired of hoping, tired of believing that better days are coming. You look at yourself and you think, I have given my best. I have loved sincerely. I have tried to be good. So why does life feel so heavy? You feel like the chapters of your life have been written in pain, in waiting, in longing, in unanswered questions. You sit with yourself and whisper, when will things finally make sense? But listen, my dear heart, your story is not finished. Your story is not closing here. Your story is not defined by what you lost, who left, what broke, or where you fell. This is not the end. This is an in-between, a sacred pause, a divine breath, a place where Allah is preparing you quietly, gently, lovingly, even when you cannot see it. Sometimes Allah writes silence into your life. Before He writes clarity, sometimes Allah writes tears. Before He writes peace, sometimes Allah lets you walk through darkness, not to lose yourself there, but to discover parts of your soul that only the dark can reveal. You are not being held back. You are being reshaped. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared. Do not let your heart believe that its best days are behind it. Do not let your pain convince you that your happiness has passed. Do not let loss make you think you were denied something good. What was taken from you was not your ending. What ended was simply the chapter that could not carry you forward. Sometimes you outgrow a season. Sometimes you outgrow a version of yourself. Sometimes Allah pulls you away from what you loved because He is guiding you toward what your soul needs to become. The real story, the story Allah wrote for your heart before you were born, is still unfolding. You do not see the next chapter, but Allah does. He sees the moment your tears will turn into relief. He sees the moment your prayers will unfold into reality. He sees the moment your waiting will transform into gratitude. He sees the moment your heart will say, Ya Allah, now I understand why you didn't give me what I wanted when I wanted it. The delay was not a punishment. The silence was not a rejection. The hardship was not abandonment. It was Allah preparing something better than what you asked for, better than what you imagined, better than what you almost settled for. You thought your story was closing, but Allah was just changing the page. Your story is not over. Your heart is not done loving. Your soul is not done rising. Your life has not reached its peak. The best moments of your life have not happened yet. The best conversations have not been spoken yet. The best smiles have not been smiled yet. The most beautiful peace has not yet entered your chest. The person who is written to stay has not yet taken your hand in theirs. You are still in motion. You are still becoming. You are still unfolding. Your story is still being written by the one who writes with mercy, with precision, with love, with wisdom greater than your understanding. And He has never written an ending without beauty in it. My dear brothers and sisters, if your heart is still healing, if your soul is still tired, if your chest still feels heavy sometimes, that does not mean you are weak. That does not mean you are lost. And it definitely does not mean your story is over. It simply means Allah is still working on you. He has not abandoned you. He has not forgotten you. He has not replaced you. He is holding you in a way no human being ever could. He knows the nights you couldn't sleep. He knows the times you smiled while your heart was breaking. He knows the moments you kept helping others while you were quietly fighting your own battles. Not a single tear was wasted. Not a single sigh went unnoticed. Not a single prayer was ignored. Allah heard you. Allah saw you. Allah is still with you. And when Allah is with you, your story cannot end in sadness. You have chapters left to live, laughs left to laugh, love left to receive, peace left to feel, blessings left to hold. The pages of your life are still turning. So be patient with the part of your story you're in right now. Don't rush the healing. Don't question the delay. Don't doubt the plan. Because when Allah writes the next chapter, it will make you forget why you cried this much. It will make you look back and say, Subhanallah, if that had not broken, I would have never found what was meant for me. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where Allah needs you to be for what comes next. So breathe, be gentle with your heart, and remember, the story Allah writes is always worth the wait.